to talk to one person. So now let's take a look at Maxim. Hello, Maxim. Maxim Fedosik. Hello, Maxim. How was your day? Yes. Hello, Irina.
Bahra?
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Irina.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay. And what did you do today? Did you go? Oh, you're working from home. Yes.
Yes, I'm working from home. Yes. I am not working because I'm in Shone. I am tired.
Okay.
So I am now on my self isolation. So because the weather was cold, I don't go anywhere today.
Okay.
They,
Do you go out of the house?
what your house?
Do you go out or you stay at home?
Mm, my sound flow a little bit flow.
Okay.
I I do my routine work. I did my routine work, homework, and I prepare to my class.
For my class?
For
For
my
my
class,
class.
for my class, I do exercise and read my favorite book, and I look after my animals. I have 2 cats and fish. Big aquarium. Big aquarium.
Okay. And how old are your cats?
One cat's my cats from street. Rescue cats. One cat's 3 years old and second, and other 15 years old.
Oh, it's a very old cat.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you only go out when you want to buy something at the store, yes?
No. No, I usually use to delivery. I make order. I make order food, and food delivered me.
Okay, so you use the food you
Food
make an
delivery,
order, food
make an
delivery.
order. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, you are really practicing what we call self-isolation.
Yeah. Yeah. I about 1 month on isolation, on self-isolation. But sometimes I go out. I live in a very nice area. It's Vostok,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
near their lake, forest, and um, many green areas, many square and parks, and I like it very much.
Oh, that's very good. That's nice.
Mm.
You're lucky to have such you know such natural landscape around you. I could take a walk in the woods once in a while. It helps.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so Irina, so it was nice talking to you. So I'm going to talk to one or two more persons and to find out how their day was. Yes, hello, Katya, also to you.
Bye.
Bye. So, let's talk to Dimitri. Hello, Dimitri. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello, Dimitri. How are you?
Hello. Everything is okay. Everything is okay. Hello.
So, okay. And so, I believe you're working from home.
No, I work in an office. Can you hear me?
All right.
I work
I think the
in an
network is
office.
okay. And what do you do? What did you do besides work today? Was there any other thing you did?
I work on a computer and I draw maps on buildings and do report for my boss.
Okay. So I think everything was work related, yes?
Yes, I work in an office with my colleagues.
Okay. All right, Dimitri. As always, it's nice to talk with you. So we'll take one more person. We have just a minute. We have Maxim. Hello, Maxim. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, Maxim, how are you?
It's okay.
Yes, but the camera is upside down. Maybe you should try to turn. No, turn it upside.
Right turn?
No, try to turn it again. Turn it.
I don't know.
Take down, maybe. Take down.
Turn it again.
And
Okay. No, because I have to turn my head like this just to see, but
oh, okay. Maybe.
Well, you
This is first position.
okay. Well, all right, we'll manage. We'll manage. So, okay, Maxim, how are you?
It's okay, thanks. And you?
So how was you work from home? Yes?
I stay in a village.
The connection is shaking.
I think.
It's not so good.
Yes. Listen to
The
me.
connection is shaky. Yes, I can hear you. I can still hear you.
Oh, it's okay. I stay in my village. I reading books and do exercise. I learn German, Deutsch, and
Okay.
I think what I forgot English.
Okay. How long have you been learning German language?
But I'm started 6 or 7 months ago.
7 months ago.
Yes.
Well, that sounds. So you're learning two languages together, English and German.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Oh, well done. So, but it takes a lot of determination to learn two languages. So, I would say kudos to you and well done.
Thanks.
And are you working from home?
Yes, I'm working with Zoom and Skype, Viber.
Mm-hmm.
Used everything, communication online.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, Maxime. So today we're going to talk about a topic. It's quite interesting. Maxime just talked about learning German, and as all of you here also, you're learning English. Today's topic is learn a language in a month. Is it possible to learn a language in a month? It's quite interesting when you think about it. Is it possible to learn a language in 1 month? When we say a month. So let's try to find out opinions from others. We have Svetlana Santarovich. Svetlana, hello. If you can hear me, just say hi. Hello, Svetlana, can you hear me? Okay, so we go to Natalia. Hello, Natalia.
Hello.
Yes, hello, Natalia. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Okay, that's wonderful. And I want to ask you, Natalia, is it possible to learn a language in 1 month?
I think it's possible only for person who learned English earlier, but forgot it. Maybe only in this. For people who at first learn English, it's very difficult, I think.
Very difficult. And did you learn English before?
Learn English? What? Last what?
No, I mean, did you study English in your childhood when you were in school, or maybe when you were little?
I learned English at school. Many years ago.
Okay. So why do you think it's not possible for, you said it's only someone who has studied English before. Maybe it's possible for them to learn a language in 1 month. But what about someone who hasn't studied anything about a language? For example, Natalia, I don't know Spanish. I only know hola. That's what I know in Spanish. So if I want to learn Spanish, is it possible for me to learn Spanish language in 1 month?
Maybe it's possible if you can find a good a teacher.
Okay, it's possible. All right. So Natalia, so it was a pleasure talking with you. So we're going to go to another student, and we have Daria Melnik. Hello, Daria. Hello. Hello, Daria. Okay.
Hello.
Hello, Daria. How are you?
I hear me. Do you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I'm good, thank you. I'm fine.
All right. So, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? What do you do? Are you a student or you work?
I work. I'm not a student. I work in office. I'm an accountant in IT company.
So you work from home now? Yes.
Yes, I work at home now.
Okay. So the question, Daria, so I wouldn't waste time, is do you think it's possible to learn a language in 1 month?
I think it's not impossible to learn English for 1 month. Not
So
impossible.
not impossible. So it's possible, yes?
But
Because you said it's not impossible, so it means that it's possible.
Or not. Two not. 2 times.
You understand?
So if you say possible, okay, so when you say impossible, it means
невозможно.
it cannot be done. Yes.
Okay.
Possible.
Okay.
Yes. It is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, значит, I
is
think
it
that
possible?
it is impossible.
It's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But why do you say it's impossible?
Because it is very hard
Okay.
to learn new English for 1 month.
Okay. How long have you been studying English?
At first, I learned English at school, then at university, then 8 years I'm not learn English at all, and now I'm learn again in this language, and it is very hard for me. I all forget about.
What do you find difficult about English?
For 8 years, I forgot a lot of words, and it is difficult to me talk with people.
Okay. So you just you find it difficult to talk with people.
Yes, to talk.
Okay. When you traveled abroad, have you ever spoken to, okay, let me put it this way. Have you spoken to anyone on the phone in English?
No. I don't speak in English on the phone.
I haven't spoken.
I haven't spoken.
I haven't.
So, and what about maybe to a tourist, or maybe when you went to another country, did you talk to anyone in English?
I talk, but this talk was not very long. It was like how can I get to bus station, or maybe a different situation in a cafe or restaurant, and that's all.
Okay. All right. And what about films? Do you watch movies in English?
I tried to do that, but it very difficult for me. I don't. It's very fast for me, and I don't understand the all the story.
Okay, you don't understand what they're saying. Yes?
Because they
Okay.
talk very fast, and I don't understand.
You don't understand. Okay, I have one more question for you. Since you said it's not possible to learn a language in 1 month, now do you have what advice do you have for someone learning a new language?
You
Tips.
should go to another country and live there 1 month and try to talk with people in this language.
If it's not possible,
You should learn new words. So movies.
movies, yes?
Movies, yes. But movies for children, I think, because
Movies for children.
you can
What kind
understand.
of what kind of movies?
Movies for maybe not movies, maybe cartoons for children.
Do you watch movies for children? So your advice, Daria, the advice you gave, they're good. So, but you should practice them too also.
Yes.
Yes. Watching movies for children. Watching what else? You said if it's possible to travel to another country. What else did you say? Any other tip?
Maybe some people when they played game different, they learn English, but I don't understand how it's possible. But I know people which learn English this way, in this way.
Because now, because right now they have what we call.
Здесь нельзя, нельзя. No.
Okay, so. Or is it just me? Or is from? Let me. Okay, I guess everything is okay. So as I was saying, regarding gaming, the reason why a lot of people who play games it's possible for them to improve their language, to improve on the language that they want to learn, is because they communicate with other people playing online. Especially if you're playing console, PlayStation 4, depending on the kind of games. So you're able to talk and, have dialogues with people from all over the world.
Okay.
So that's why. Yeah. So, okay, Daria, it's a pleasure talking with you. So I'll take one more person
Okay.
and start the lesson. We have so just a second. We have Vlad. Hello, Vlad. Machkovsky Vlad.
Hello, you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Vlad. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm fine, thank you. It's a quiet evening. So, Vlad, we're talking about learn a language in a month. That's today's topic. And I want to ask you, for someone who wants to learn a language, do you have any tips, useful tips?
I think that learn language in 1 month, it's impossible.
Okay.
Because for language you need more knowledge, more words, and that's all learn on months. It's impossible now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, if it's so it's impossible then. So, well, what kind of tips, useful tips, would you recommend for someone who wants to learn a new language, a language that you don't have, that you've never studied before?
Maybe start with new words for first at first.
Okay.
And maybe children books.
Children books. Okay.
Yes, with alphabet.
Pardon?
Alphabet.
Alphabet.
Yes.
Okay.
Person must know how letter pronunciation pronounce
Yes.
for first.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Maybe that's all.
That's all. All right. So, one more question for you before we start. Since you're speaking, you're learning English, obviously. Have you ever spoken to someone in English on the phone?
On English on the phone? No, I don't spoken, but I listen. I haven't spoken, but I many listen because I work with customers with another country. Yes, and I many hear speech.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly on English. Yes.
Okay. All right, Vladimir. So, your tips, I like the tips, they were good. And so it's a pleasure talking with you. And for everyone who contributed your answers and gave opinions, so it was good as well. So well done, guys. Now, I'm going to change to lesson. We're going to talk about how to learn a language, useful tips that is going to help you all, since you are all English students. So I want you all to listen very carefully and stay tuned to the screen. So we have material, just a second. And just a minute while I load it. Okay, so I want to take a look at the page, the first page. Obviously, you see pictures with different country flags. You have, Portuguese, Japanese, Italian, German, the United States flag, China, Russia, England, Spain. Says learn a new language yourself. When people see this, they're like, learn a new language yourself? That is impossible. That it's they believe is not possible. But everything is possible with the right guidance and with the right mindset, and also very good methods. Now we're going to go through the first one. Set language learning goals. In anything we're doing in life, goals is what pushes us to make progress, to move forward, to grow, and to see ourselves, move to move one step closer to what we want to get. And it's the same thing in language learning. Now, set goals for what you want to achieve. Now, when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense, because without goals, we cannot achieve. How can you achieve? How can you measure? Because when you set goals for language, you can look back and say, okay, I've been studying English language for about a month. Let's just say a month. Then you think before you started and where you are right now, and then you see differences from the very first day, how difficult it was for you, and gradually you tend to see progress, depending on the method, depending on the strategy that you are using. Now, like the first one was to set learning goals in any language that you want to learn. You have the second one, is talking about to focus on specific outcomes. When we say specific outcomes, it means goals that has details. You put your focus, or should I say focus, on what you plan to learn rather than how much time you plan to study. Because, for example, a lot of people think that yes, if you devote a good amount of time to learning, that's great too. But the materials, what you plan to learn, is really vital. It's really important. Now, when you see that focus on specific outcomes, what is it talking about? A good example is this week, I am going to learn, let's say it's English language, 30 vocabulary words related to shopping. So you just put shopping, right? Shopping. Find 30 good words, 30 useful basic words related to shopping that can help you, that is going to be useful for you. You memorize them, and then you try to make sure that it becomes part of your vocabulary, words that you can find easy to remember. So 30 words related to shopping. That is an example of a good goal. Now you have the next one. It says challenge yourself, but not too much. Now, goals, they work best when they actually make you to become a better version of yourself. So it makes you to push harder. It makes you to, work harder to become better and better at what you're doing. But if the goals that you have, they're too hard, you lose motivation, you lose interest, and you get tired, and you're like, oh, I don't want to do this again. Now, a good way to get around this is to set goals with a range of outcomes. Now, when we say outcomes, it's talking about if you're going to learn 20 vocabulary words this week, so the lower number in this range can help you feel the goal is achievable. So you can say 20 to 30. 30 to 40. So it shouldn't be something too much or too high that you can't do. You try to put from minimum to maximum. So while the higher number will allow you to push yourself. So back to just a second, which is why it says challenge yourself, but not too much. And so when you set goals, you set the goals with a range of outcomes. As you can see, when I mentioned, for example, you want to learn words related to shopping in English language. So I'm going to learn 20 to 30 words, 20 to 30, okay, let's say 20 to 40 words. You say the maximum is 40, but the minimum is 20. So it helps you to push yourself to do more. So you say the minimum should be 20. It should not be less than 20. That's what it's talking about. Now, we have another one is to write. Write down your goals. People look at it and say, write down your goals. It helps. When you write down your goals, it means think on paper. You take a pen, you take a biro, you write. Write down your goals. It helps you to commit to them. It's like a promise to yourself, something that you want to do. So you post your goals in a very important place, maybe like your mirror in your bathroom, the home screen of your smartphone. These are just examples of how you should put your goals. Put it down. So remember, write down your goals. It helps you to commit to them. So post your goals in an important place. Now the phone that we have is a it does a lot of, it's a multifunctional device. So you can use your phone to write down your goals as well. Now we come to the next one. Number 2. Learn the right words. Might as well say learn the left words, but anyway, that's just a joke. But when we say learn the right words, people will say the right words in language. Aren't we supposed to learn everything? Learning everything is not possible in language. Now, for example, we look at the English language. It has between 600,000 to 1 million words. I don't even know up to 1 million words in English. So, and I'm pretty sure it's the same for all of you who are also native Russian speakers. Now, the most important thing is that you don't need to learn so much words to be fluent or proficient in a language. You need to find the words that are important, the right words. When we mean the right word, the words that forms the basis, the core, that has the most important the most important information in a language relating to the language in any language that you're learning. So you focus on those right words, and then you eliminate. When we say eliminate here, it means remove wasted time, and then you increase the amount of information you understand very quickly. So back to number 2. So learn the right words. So that way you don't waste a lot of time, learning too much information that is not useful. Now we have the third one. Study smart. Study smart. When learning your words, you will learn faster by using the very best study techniques. Now, for example, one of the best ways to learn vocabulary words is to use what we call flashcards. Flashcards help you focus on individual words and allow you to test yourself. Now, they help you to memorize new information. That's what it says. Now, look at the third one again. Study smart. We want to make progress quickly. We want to make progress with anything that we're doing effectively, just to see how far we're going. Now, why do we say with flashcards? When you learn with flashcards, you focus on some individual words that can allow you to test yourself. Now, talking about flashcards, there are a few tips that will help you to learn really fast. The first one is to try out electronic flashcards. Now, there's electronic flashcards and there's paper flashcards. Now, paper flashcards are usually the ones they make on what you call, it depends. A lot of people have different ways of doing it. Some people use what we call a cardboard. You cut the cardboard, kind of like sideways. You write down some words, and they, for memorizing, and then they put them inside a box. And every day you go through this paper flashcard. They work really great. They work well. But electronic flashcard programs, we have a few of them. You have Anki. They have really good benefits. When you use them, you can store. When you use electronic flashcards, it allows you to use them on your smartphone, your tablets, your iPads, on whatever electronic device that you have. Also, this program, Anki, the beauty of it is it allows you to take advantage of flashcards that other people have created and made public. So this program also automatically changes the order of cards, and what they do is it's used repetition. When we say repetition, it means something that repeats itself. So to gradually increase the amount of time, between repetition of a flashcards. So both of these techniques helps you to learn faster and better. So once again, electronic flashcards. So what programs like Anki helps you to, have a large stack, or should we say a large quantity of flashcards on your smartphone or tablet. And you can also use other flashcards that other people have created, and it's public, meaning anyone can use it. Now, we're going to go to another one. And here it's to make sure, still on tips on how to use flashcards, to guess the meaning of a word before turning over the card. That's the idea of a flashcard. Now, flashcards, what they do is they work best when you use them to test, our memories. So don't be too quick to flip the cards over. Even if you don't know the word, try to make a guess. Now, that's another one. Now, we have here, it's talking about to learn. You learn the translation first, then learn to produce the new word. Now, it's very easy to learn translation of a foreign word than it is to say the foreign word when you see it in English. So, what you do is you start by looking at the side of the flashcard with a foreign word on it. You try to memorize what the translation in English would be. Another way is to use the word in your native language. So let's say, for example, when you're learning a new language, it's very hard to practice words in context. That is because you haven't you're not used to it, to make you haven't mastered enough vocabulary to make complex sentences, like difficult sentences. Now, to get around this, you simply use the word in your native language. For example, my native language is English, so if I'm learning Spanish, now the Spanish word for house is casa. So if I say, instead of saying I'm going to go to my house now, so I would say I'm going to go to my casa now. So when I say, oh, casa, oh yes, I know it. Casa means house in Spanish. So it helps us to remember, some certain words in the language that we're learning. So with this kind of practice, you pick up, you make progress rapidly. Another way is what we call keyword technique. Now, here we just talk about where you make up a sentence with the new word you are learning. So the meaning of the word in your native language, it might sound similar. For example, we have the word here, mesa. It means stable. Think of an English word that sounds similar and make up a sentence. Like, my kitchen table is always a mess, since mess and mesa are very similar. Even in Russian language, the Russian language has some words that are similar to English. There's so many of them, so many of them. So even for those who haven't been studying English for a really long time, would be able to identify and say, oh, yes, this word, yes, I know it in Russian, and so it sounds similar in English as well. So there's a lot of similarities in languages here and there. We go to the next one. It's talking about using the language every day, all day. Now, when you're a beginner, so obviously everyone now is past the beginner level in English. So it can be kind of like overwhelming. When it's overwhelming, it's might be difficult to use the language every day. But there are many ways to make language learning fun, to become a part of your life. Now, first of all, is you try to make use of every moment to learn new words, meaning it's the time. So you can take your flashcards with you. You can take, that is if you have them stored in electronic version on your phone. You can always use them. Maybe driving to on the subway, on your bus, the tramway, not when you're driving, when your hands are on the steering wheel. No, not when you're driving. I mean, when you're using the public transport. So you can use it. Maybe when you have free time, when you have breaks, just bring out your phone and you look at your apps and you go through your flashcards. And here we have number 5. It's talking about real life practice. Now, talking about real life practice, back to it, we hear seek. When you see the word seek, seek means find. Seek out real life practice. So seek means, we say seek, it means to find, to look for something. Now, you have here, now some of the best learning, it happens in real life situations because we have no choice but to use the foreign language. Now, one of the easiest ways when you go to travel, you go to study abroad. So it creates opportunities to be surrounded by people who speak the language you want to learn. Now, one of the most effective ways to meet with a language partner, depending on your schedule. Maybe you might pay this person for his or her time to exchange an hour of practice in the language you want to learn. The next one is to join a conversation club. Use an online tutoring or language partner site. Volunteer with immigrants in your city. So that is to find volunteer opportunities on a site. Maybe like we have a few of them here. The first one was to use an online tutoring or language partner site. This way you can talk to native speakers of the language you want to learn. My Language Exchange, Koefi.com, Volunteer Match. This is with immigrants in your city. Idealist. So this will bring you to be able to contact organizations that serve immigrants who speak the language you want to learn. And the most interesting of all is going to restaurants, cafes, English restaurants. If there is, for example, a Mexican restaurant nearby for those who want to learn Spanish, you can enjoy tasty food, practice your Spanish with the waiters or owners. Maybe Chinese at a grocery store that sells food to local Chinese communities. Okay, then we have here is talking about the culture. Now, in any language that we are learning, it's very, for me personally, I believe that it's more than just understanding words on the page, just like come, go, and all that. It's good, yes, when you read, but it's also important to learn about the culture, about the history associated with these words. You have to. Now, and knowing something about a country's or maybe the history, current events, religious belief, common customs can help you understand a lot about what people say or do. As we're all learners, English students, you're all learning English, try to find out something about the English-speaking country. Where did English originate from? It originated from the United Kingdom. What are their customs? What are their beliefs, their cuisine, their way of life? What religion do they practice there? What is the everyday life of a British man? The United States is also an example of a country. They have English is their first language, and they all speak English. You also look into the history. This is what helps us to understand more about the English language, and it can really be fun. It can be interesting when you go deep into knowing about the culture, customs of the country that speaks this language. And you have the seventh one, test yourself. Now, testing is, just to see how far you have come, to also motivate yourself to learn faster. Now, this is talking about how to test yourself in, really little ways. If you're learning from a textbook, practice test, complete the exercise at the end of the chapter, play online games, take online tests. There's a lot of online tests found in almost any language online. The last one is one of my favorites. You have fun. We learn best when we're enjoying ourselves. So what we do is don't forget to make learning language fun. It's always interesting. Playing games is a great way to have fun. So, and it can even help us to practice your language skill when you feel tired. What is another way of having fun when learning a language? You focus on things you find interesting, like a favorite hobby. If, for example, you like to sew, study words in English related to sewing. Watch sewing videos on YouTube. Talk with tailors who speak your target language. If you're interested in gaming, you do the same thing. If you love singing, find videos on singing, find songs. There's a lot of amazing songs in English language that you can learn to help you improve your English. Read books. There's a lot of simple books, basic books with basic English for English learners. We call them graded readers. Now, and the last but not the least is make friends who speak your target language or are interested in learning it. So language is meant to be learned, it's all about being social. And because when you have conversation, dialogues, it helps us to make language fun and worthwhile. Now, I know that this is a lot of information, but what I want you guys to know is, all of you listening, back to the very first, because it's talking about learning a new language yourself. Remember, the first tip is you set goals. And on the set goals, we have sub tips. The second is to talking about specific outcomes. When we say specific outcomes, detailed goals, what you plan to learn, not how much time you plan to study. Challenge yourself, but not too much. And you come to the second one. You write down your goals, learn the right words, study smart, try out electronic flashcards, and you have to make sure to get the meaning of a word before turning over the flashcard, because how to use flashcard, how to make them useful, how to make them effective. Learn the translation first, then you learn to produce the new words, and you try to use the words in your native language. Keyword technique, that's what it's talking about. Also, try to make up a sentence with the new word you are learning. Try to use the language every day. Seek out real life practice. That's the fifth one. We have tips on how to make real life practice. Maybe meet with a language partner, join a conversation club. We have conversation club at Underground Language Club. It's being conducted online. You can use an online tutoring, volunteer with immigrants in your city. These are just some examples. The sixth one, learn about the culture, really important. And you have test yourself. And the last, have fun when learning a language. So these are the 8 tips on learning languages, and we're going to take some questions regarding the material that I just talked about. Okay. So before we start, so try to hello, Pavel. Pavel, if you can hear me, just say hello.
Hello, Michael.
Yes, hello, Pavel. How are you?
I am okay, and you?
I'm fine, thank you. So, Pavel, from these tips about learning a language, you've been listening to our conversation, yes?
Yeah.
Which of these tips do you find useful?
Of course, yeah, and try to use all of them, but it's difficult.
Okay. It's going to be difficult for you.
Yeah, maybe yes.
Okay, so but which of them are you going to practice?
About these tips?
Yes, about these tips.
I try to learning new words every week, but not set the minimum and maximum, but I try to much more and try to read some articles on English and use tutorial videos of maybe simple things about simple watch the videos.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe,
okay, but yes, go ahead.
Maybe that's all.
But Pavel, learning a new word every week is too small. At least it should be every day if you're going to learn a new word every day.
Yeah, I understand.
Have you read a book or magazine in English before?
Maybe sometimes I read magazines.
Well, what kind of magazines?
Sport magazines online.
Sport magazines online. You're a sport fan, yes?
Yeah.
What kind of sport?
I watch basketball, American football, NFL, and
like American football.
Yeah, and a bit baseball, MLB.
So, which team is your favorite in the NFL?
New England Patriots.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, in Russian countries, the most part favorite team is New England.
New England. Well, Tom Brady is no more.
Yeah.
Okay, and okay, but now aside from these tips, have you ever tried using flashcards to learn how to improve learning your English? Learning English.
No, I didn't try.
Mm-hmm. You haven't tried it before?
Yeah.
Have you? I'm sure you've traveled abroad many times. And have you spoken to people? Did you speak to people in English?
Yeah.
How was it for you? How was this experience?
It is difficult, but after you to feel the increase in your speech, it's a very necessary experience.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's interesting, Pavel. Well done. I like your answers. So we're going to talk to another student.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
You're welcome. So this time we're talking to Anastasievsky Andrei. Hello, Andrei.
Hello.
Yes, hello. How are you, Andrei?
Not bad, thank you.
Good to hear from you. So, and speaking about the tips that I just shared with all of you, which of these tips did you find useful?
First, I'm usually use one app It's called Quizlet. There is flashcard options.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
Yes.
good.
Yes, I'm usually used it if I have time. When I'm eating, when I'm going on second seat in the car,
Yes.
when I don't drive car.
Okay.
When I don't drive, yes. It's first one. The second one, I'm sometimes I'm reading a book. Now I'm trying to read a book. It's called how it's called in English? It's Великий Gatsby, Great Gatsby. Yes.
Great Gatsby. Oh, that's
Great Gatsby. Yes, it's some difficult, but there is book. It's not. It isn't usually book. There is have. It have some information for guy who and girl who learning English. There is some information, some translate, little translate. It's interesting because and также. I'm reading. I'm read недавно. Как будет недавно?
Recently or not
yes,
long?
yes. Recently, I am read one book. It's read book. It's called Sherlock Holmes. It's it's too easy. I think I'm understand maybe 80% of book without vocabulary.
Oh, that's good.
Yes. Next, what are you doing for improve my English? Sometimes I'm watching TV, watching films or some programs in YouTube. I'm like different. It's I think it's doesn't matter. What do you like to? You need to look it and watch it. And more than now, I'm in the business trip. There are many foreign people, German and Polish, yes, who use English, and I'm try to speak with them. It's very useful for me.
And do you find it difficult to understand these people when they talk?
It depends on people, but somebody I am understand full. Any people I, for example, this have a German man. His name Mike. He talk very fast, and he used many difficult words. But first time I don't understand anything. But now, in a few days, I think I understand maybe 50-60%. Yes.
Okay.
It's good, I think.
And that's very interesting, Andre. So, but from all these tips that I shared with you today, which of them are you going to use? Are you going to start using?
I want to try speaking club in underground. in your company.
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting for me because I'm looking now. It's our lessons, and I'm see it. Yes, it's useful for me. It's interesting and useful for me when we talked only English.
Okay, that's good. That's very good. I advise for each and every one of you who's listening to join the conversation club in our school. We have for all students, and it will really help you guys to improve because it gives you the opportunity to talk, to practice. We talk about a whole range of topics, different things that is happening around us. You share your opinions and you talk, and it will really be useful for you guys.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
for your comments.
Yes. So it's a pleasure talking with you again, Andre.
Thank you.
And yes, before we go, there's a video that I want to share with you guys. And I'm going to play the video in just a minute, but I'll change the settings so the sound will not disturb, when you guys are watching the video. So just hang on, just a second, and let's see.
Hey guys, it's Leonie. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 7 tips that I've used over the past 5 years to kind of get a basic grasp of the Swedish language. So hopefully if you are thinking of learning a language and you don't really want to take classes but you kind of want to keep it casual, that these tips will help you guys out. What I really like to do when I learn a new language is to get a notebook, and pretty much anything that I write in that notebook has to be related to the language that I'm learning. So for example, when I was learning French in university, I had a notebook where I would write everything that I was learning in French. You can also keep like a diary or a blog where everything you feel like expressing has to be in that language that you're learning. At first it will be really hard because you'll find that there are some things that you want to express but you can't find the words to express them in that language, and so that's a really great time for you to kind of like go on Google Translate or open your dictionary and learn new vocabulary for the words that you want to express. I also really like to listen to music in that language that I'm learning. So right now, obviously, I listen to a lot of Swedish music, and it really helps me to kind of comprehend what they're singing about. And when I first started listening to Swedish music, I couldn't understand like a single word. But over time, you kind of learn to grasp the different context of songs, especially because there are a lot of like love songs out there, heartbreak songs, and you will pick up common words that they use. What I really like to do is I like to read the lyrics as I listen to the song. Any words that I don't know, I'll translate. And if I really like a song and it's really resonating with me, I'll turn it into an artwork. I'll like write it down. I'll make a painting out of it. I think being able to write what you're listening to is a great way to kind of keep all those vocabulary and words and phrases in your mind. And that's really helps me because i en värld full av strider finns en ekande kör för hjärtan som brinner för livet. Ja, för livet. Next, I will suggest that you find a really good TV series in that local language. But I suggest watching movies and watching TV series because it will kind of help you to learn the way that words are pronounced or the intonation of the voices when they speak that language, and that is really helpful because it's easy to kind of just like read the words that you see and think that they are pronounced, but it's another thing to like have that intonation. For example, I could be like jag älskar dig. Like it makes sense, but it lacks that intonation, like jag älskar dig. That's really important too if you're learning a new language, is to like surround yourself with people who actually speak it and listen to the way that the words are spoken. So yeah, definitely check out foreign films in the language that you're choosing to learn. Next is reading. I suggest getting maybe children's books to start off with, because it's going to be hard if you just jump in straight into like an adult novel. But children's books are really great because you'll learn how to say the basic things, basic vocabulary, and as you build your confidence, you can progress to higher levels. I would suggest getting books that you already know in your native tongue. So for example, I don't know, Twilight, Hunger Games, something that you've read before, and get the translated version of that. I also follow a lot of people online who speak the language that I'm learning. Finding YouTubers who make videos in their native tongue and following them on social media. There's also specific Twitter accounts in specific languages that you could also follow, and you'll learn a lot from that too. Usually there is like quite a tight-knit community of these YouTubers who make videos in their native language. So once you find one YouTuber, it's really easy to kind of find their community and start following all the people who make videos in that language. I would also take advantage of free applications. There are so many apps out there that let you learn a language for free. And I've wrote about this before, but it's the app called Duolingo. And they have quite a few languages that you can learn on Duolingo. I'm waiting for them to have like a Chinese Mandarin course so that I can start learning Mandarin. But this is a really great way if you need extra resources and extra help to kind of guide you along that way. And it's great for grammar practices, it's great for expanding your vocabulary, and it's kind of like a gamification process too, so there's like levels. I don't go on it very often anymore, but I just kind of go on there to refreshen up my French skills mostly and to see how my Swedish progression is going. So it's also a really great way to kind of gauge how far along you are in the process of learning your language. And lastly, I think this is probably the most important, is to find a buddy who you can actually talk to in that language you're learning. I think this has definitely been the best way for me to learn Swedish, because I have Matthias around, and every now and then we'll have a conversation in Swedish, usually like 5 to 10 minutes. And he'll teach me new vocabulary, he'll teach me if I've said a phrase wrong. It's really helpful when I'm listening to a Swedish song or I'm watching a Swedish television program and I don't understand what's going on, and he can translate for me. Obviously, through Matthias, I have some of his friends who also help me on my Swedish language journey, so I will like type to them in Swedish and they will type something back and I have no idea what they just typed, and it's a great way to learn new phrases and to kind of get a better understanding, because Matthias is very lenient on me. If I say something grammatically wrong, sometimes he'll let it go, but with his friends they'll be like, huh? No, you're supposed to say it this way. I think Matthias just likes to see me make a fool of myself. But yeah, definitely try and find yourself someone who you can talk that language you're learning to. It's really helpful and it gives you great practice to actually put all that passive learning to use. Anyway, those are my tips, and those were the ways that I have managed to learn Swedish over the past 5 years without really taking any classes or really putting much effort. Obviously, the more you invest in it, the more time you spend into it, the more you schedule time to learn another language, the faster you'll progress. Let me know if you're learning a new language and what are some of the things that you're doing to reach that goal. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, thumbs up. Wow, that was so sellout of me, but it makes me feel a little bit better if you actually press the thumbs up button and comment, so that I know I'm not wasting my time making these videos. My self-worth is dependent on your likes. Hope you guys are having a lovely day. I will see you guys in my next video, and as always, vi säger tack för maten.
Okay, guys. Hello. So that was the video was just talking about 7 tips for learning a new language. So, and I hope you all found the video really useful. So before we go, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Hello. Okay, so I'm going to ask just one more student. Let's see. So hello, Koverchuk Olga. Hello. Okay, so we have Slavish Olga. Hello, Olga. Slavish Olga. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, Olga. Hello. Okay, so a lot of people are typing right now. So Olga and I see Ekaterina typing also.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Who is this?
Lebedeva Ekaterina.
Okay, so Katya, how was the video? Did you find any of the tips useful?
Yes, I saw this video and I found these types is useful, and I think that a lot of people used this type. But for me, was a new information that these girls write a diary on a new language. I think that it's unusual way to learn language, but it's interesting.
Yes, it is. I agree. It is, but she said it's quite helpful, and I agree with the fact that how will we study? Yes, yes, I think using a diary it's really helpful for learning, and it helps you to, it helps you to practice. So it helps you to write, it helps you to think, and you heard what she said. Even if you don't have the word to write down something, you can always use Google Translate. But try it. That's someone says, I think notebook in video is not real. So it's helpful, Katrina, to your question, to what you just said. Maratova Ekaterina, how will we study further, online or offline? I think classes will continue online, but it's best to contact your managers, and your teachers will also give you more answers regarding this as well. So if there is no question, so and then our lesson will come to an end this evening. As always, as always, it's pleasure. I find it's interesting, and it's always a pleasure to talk. Teach all of you. It's been interesting. It's been wonderful. So, have a wonderful evening, and be safe. See you all next week, and thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you very much. Thanks, and bye. Thank you all. Bye.